Welcome to the MasterMind Library. They call me Ferdinand, the bringer of balance, leader of many disciplines, and one of your hosts of the MasterMind Library, the home of the MasterMind Book Club on FHTII.com. We are in episode 158, and we've been reading from The Ageless Woman. Right? It's about to give us some very valuable information for our ladies on how to age less. So I'm here today with my co-host Trigger. How you doing, Trigger? You doing good? No, you're not doing too good? Okay. Well, why don't you tell us who's in our live audience? Who's over there? Who's that?
Didi.
Sincere? Who else?
Kiwi.
Huey? Okay, good job. Who's that over there?
Tiger.
Very good. Good job, buddy. Very good. All
Thank
right.
you.
You tired? You want to take a nap?
Mhm.
Okay, cool. All right, good. Very good. Let's go ahead and let's put the book up on the screen for everybody. And we're going to get started. Trigger said he's ready for nap time, everybody. That is a good thing. All right, so Ageless Woman. Let's get to where we need to be at. Page 15. All right, there we go. Okay. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for everybody. It's kind of small right now. Let's see. I think that should be good. Everybody should be able to see that. The search for a natural and healthy menopause. True healing of any condition means to restore the mind, body, and spirit to their naturally balanced states. The Sharaka Samhita. A profound realization is dawning in the collective psyche of women today. Our bodies are natural, and our medicine, to be truly effective and safe, must be natural as well. For decades, women have put their faith in the technology of modern medical science and relied on it for answers to health problems. Since the startling findings of the Women's Health Initiative on the hazards and limitations of hormone therapy, HT, we are questioning the wisdom of this approach. The old-fashioned medical model in which we complacently accept our doctor's view of what needs fixing and prescriptions for how to do it no longer meets our needs. We realize now that the drugs doctors offer don't get at the root of our problems and, in addition, usually cause side effects. As the traditional caretakers of our own and our family's health, we know from our healing intuition that there must be a better way. We are looking for a natural medicine that uses nature's infinite power to heal rather than man-made technologies that harm. In the midst of a transformation, in this search for a completely natural medicine, women today are dramatically transforming the practice of medicine. As health consumers, women are voting with their pocketbooks, sending doctors scurrying to educate themselves in the knowledge of natural approaches, including herbs and diet. Even doctors now realize that for effective prevention and treatment of chronic health disorders, the tide has irreversibly turned in the direction of natural approaches. Women of the baby boomer generation are leading the way. Many of us in our 40s and 50s are in the midst of our own transformation, entering menopause in record numbers. Soon, for the first time in history, there will be more women beyond menopause than have yet to go through it. For us, the demand is clear. Our bodies are natural, our menopause is natural, and our treatment for menopause must be natural. We find ourselves in a double transformation, one happening within, in our bodies, minds, and hormones, and another happening without, in our cultural's healing revolution, a new direction. More and more women are looking beyond the modern medical model to older, more time-tested solutions to their health problems. We intuitively sense that menopause is not a mistake or failure of our physiology, but a deeply significant developmental shift that should be honored and embraced. The wisdom offered by older traditions, along with a deepening trust in our intuitive experience of what's right for our bodies, points in a new, promising direction toward a more natural approach to menopause. Maharishi Ayurveda, the world's most ancient system of medicine, offers a truly natural approach to menopause for women today. Maharishi Ayurveda is our planet Earth's oldest, excuse me, our planet Earth's original health science created by nature herself, nature's own medicine. It is also scientifically validated and complete in theory and practical application. And unlike other traditional approaches, MAV provides a firm intellectual understanding of why we have the symptoms we do and how certain lifestyle changes can reverse them. Over 600 research studies have been published in medical journals on the benefits of healing modalities from MAV, including over $20 million given for studies founded by the US government's own National Institutes of Health. However, the most important validation of MAV must come from your experience of its simple, completely natural principles and healing approaches in your own life. Whatever is truly natural will illuminate the wisdom of nature already within you and bring your health back into alignment with what nature originally intended for you. A smooth menopause transition and a long, blissful life in radiant good health. Our menopause is natural. For women, change is programmed into our bodies in the cycles of hormonal shifting that occur throughout our female lifespan. We accept the experience of changing hormones as natural. Even so, major hormonal shifts may cause some discomforts, such as acne and mood swings at puberty, morning sickness during pregnancy, or the baby blues after delivery. Menopause is no exception. Fluctuating and declining hormones commonly bring on symptoms we are all too familiar with: changes in body temperature, mood shifts, and sleep interruption, to name a few. In the past, doctors offered women the only helping hand they had, a therapy then called hormone replacement therapy, along with a warning that we must accept their treatment to replace our declining estrogen or suffer the consequences: hot flashes, osteoporosis, heart disease, and general physical decline. The implication was that menopause itself is a disease of estrogen deficiency, treatable only with strong magic bullets, whose promised benefits are worth the risk of potentially serious side effects. Many women were so frightened by this disease model that they took the hormone therapy in spite of their concern that cancer or other harmful side effects may develop later on. Fortunately, this unfounded and erroneous approach to menopause came to a screeching halt in July of 2002 when the Women's Health Initiative, WHI, the first randomized controlled trial of hormone therapy in women, was stopped 3 years early due to excess of side effects in the group taking hormones. Those women taking both estrogen and progestin had an increased incidence of heart attacks, strokes, blood clots, and breast cancer as compared to the placebo group, so much so that it was necessary to prematurely end the trial. The WHI findings resulted in a 180-degree shift in the medical community's thinking about menopause. Doctors suddenly realized that women have known for millennia that menopause is not a disease. In fact, nothing could be further from the truth. In a broad biological sense, menopause occurs for good reasons and is a completely natural and healthy process of the female physiology. The purpose of menopause is to bring about the cessation of the menses and prevent the possibility of pregnancy and childbirth at a time when your body cannot bear the stress of these events. Your menopausal transition is actually a health advantage, curtailing the monthly loss of iron, blood, and protein at a time in life when your body assimilates nutrients less efficiently and needs to work harder to get adequate nutrition. This most natural event, yet one more cyclical hormonal shift like puberty and pregnancy, is clearly what nature intended. It is not a cause of disease or degeneration. Let's take a look at how nature has programmed your body to make this shift naturally and with good health. All right, let me lay him down real quick. All right. Sorry about that, y'all. The ABCs of your hormones. The major hormonal event occurring at menopause is the fluctuation and decline of your female hormones, estrogen and progesterone. See the sidebar, hormone terms defined. A hormone is a substance secreted by your glands that travel in your body to other hormones and tissues, where it produces effects necessary for healthful functioning. Hormones are very potent messengers. Extremely minute quantities can create major shifts in your entire body. Many hormones, including estrogen, directly affect your basic genetic material, your DNA, stimulating cell growth and proliferation. This is why hormones are so powerful and why they can have serious side effects when taken as a medicine. Estrogen is a generic term that applies to a certain class of reproductive hormones that are all chemically similar. Yet, to borrow a phrase from a researcher in the field, all estrogens are not alike. In fact, no estrogen is exactly like any other. Your body itself makes three different types of estrogen: estrogen E1, estradiol E2, and estriol E3. Estradiol, the most potent form, is the predominant form during our reproductive years. Estrone, a less potent form, is most abundant after menopause. Estriol, the weakest of the three, is produced mainly by the placenta and is highest in your body during pregnancy. Only one form of progesterone is produced by your body, and it is called just that, progesterone. At perimenopause, see the sidebar, menopause terms defined, your hormones begin to fluctuate and decline until after your last menstrual period, when they gradually stabilize. Even after your periods have ceased, your ovaries continue to produce lower levels of estrogen, primarily in the form of estradiol and estrone, the two main types of estrogen in your body. In addition, your ovaries and your adrenal glands, the organs that also secrete stress hormones, produce a hormone that is converted to estrone by an enzyme in your fat, skin, and muscle tissue, providing additional estrogen support. Testosterone, yes, women have some too, also continues to be produced by your ovaries, but drops off relatively less at menopause than do your female hormones. Continued production of all these hormones supports your body after menopause and helps to ease the transition. Let me do this real quick, y'all. We're moving on to the next. All right, boom, we good to go. The myth of estrogen deficiency. The prevalent medical belief that falling estrogen levels are solely responsible for all the symptoms we currently attribute to menopause is a mistake. While there is a very definite drop in estrogen and progesterone during perimenopause and menopause, women in their 40s and 50s are showing other signs of aging that may have been going on for decades. You may notice that muscle tone, skin firmness, youthful complexion, and your figure are no longer what they were due to the effects of time, unhealthy lifestyle, and stress on the body. For many women, age 40 marks the onset of a noticeable slowing of metabolism and digestion, particularly if they are sedentary. Most men at midlife go through a similar transition due to aging, developing middle age spread, wrinkles, and flagging libido, even forgetting a name here or there. Yet they are not suddenly losing estrogen. A study of more than 1,500 men and women in rural England showed little difference between the genders for midlife health symptoms. In fact, only two symptoms occurred more often in middle aged women than in their male peers: hot flashes and vaginal dryness. It just goes to show that many of the symptoms attributed to changing hormones at perimenopause or later are due to other, more fundamental disturbances that occur equally in men and women. Cultural differences further highlight the question of whether menopausal symptoms and disease are the inevitable result of estrogen decline. The Japanese language, for example, has no word for hot flashes because they are so rarely reported by Japanese women. Their absence is commonly attributed to the Japanese diet, which is high in soy and contains substances called phytoestrogens or plant estrogens that mimic the effect of estrogen in the body. In tribal and rural India, women living simple, low stress lives rarely have menopausal symptoms. Physical exertion and a diet of fresh foods, especially wild yam, grains such as quinoa and amaranth, and spices with estrogenic effects all have a modulating or balancing effect on fluctuating hormone levels. I have noticed that when Indian Vedas, Ayurvedic physicians, come to the West, they are usually very surprised by the many reproductive problems Western women have, including menopausal symptoms, as well as premenstrual syndrome, PMS, dysmenorrhea, painful menstrual periods, weight gain after pregnancy, and postpartum depression. All of these occur far less often in India. Even in our own culture, not all women experience menopausal symptoms or complications. One study found that that 1 out of 5 women does not experience hot flashes at all. It is also important to remember that despite what drug companies may tell us, not every woman gets osteoporosis or has a heart attack. Yet every woman goes through menopause. If menopause alone caused these problems, then every woman would have them. This leaves us to ponder the possibility that health problems at midlife and beyond are due to something more than declining estrogen, the bigger picture of menopausal problems. If conditions such as osteoporosis and cardiovascular disease are not caused by estrogen deficiency, as our modern medical theory would have us to believe, what does cause them? According to Maharishi Ayurveda, and today's more enlightened medical experts, these diseases are primarily due to the cumulative effects of unhealthy lifestyle habits during our entire premenopausal lives and are only partially aggravated by shifting hormones when perimenopause and menopause arrive at our doorstep. The best academic medical minds in our country are coming to realize that drugs and hormones cannot replace what years of poor lifestyle have destroyed. In light of recent evidence, it seems foolish to rely on drugs and hormones to magically grant us healthy golden years, including freedom from heart disease and osteoporosis. These magic bullets, magic bullet treatments do not bestow real health, and they carry with them side effects that in the long run are not worth the risk. With all of this growing evidence, a more complex picture of menopausal complications is emerging. Rather than scapegoating estrogen decline as the ultimate problem, we must instead take into account how aging, cumulative lifestyle factors, and the body's underlying state of health at the time of menopause affect the body's ability to adjust to the loss of hormones. Could it be that if the body maintains a healthful balance, all physiological and psychological factors coordinated and functioning as nature intended, then it will more readily adjust to a change in estrogen levels? If so, symptoms will be a minor and long-term complications such as osteoporosis and cardiovascular disease will not occur. This is the upbeat prediction of Maharishi Ayurveda across the millennia. I have seen it verified over and over again in my own clinical practice today. The spectrum of approaches, defining what is natural. When it comes to choosing a natural, healthy approach to menopause, women today are faced with a mind-boggling array of treatments, therapies, and prescriptions, enough to confuse even the most well-informed. Like most women, you have probably asked, should I take natural hormones? Are soy products safe? Do I need to take anything to compensate for my lack of hormones? But nowhere are the answers clearly spelled out, nor are there comparisons of how safe and natural each therapy is. To help address this situation, I designed Table 1.1, which summarizes the benefits and hazards of a broad spectrum of treatment approaches, from the most high tech to the most natural. At one end of this spectrum are the drug and hormonal interventions for menopausal health problems. At the other end are approaches that have no side effects and are completely natural. In between these two extremes are the mixed approaches of natural hormones and alternative approaches using food and herb-based supplements. Along this spectrum, I have placed 6 different approaches, each considered from the perspective of how natural it is, how safe it is, and how thoroughly it addresses women's midlife health needs. Let's look more closely at each of these approaches, starting with the least natural category, which I am calling synthetic because it is made up of traditional HT and the new designer version of HT, selective estrogen receptor modulators, SERMs. Here goes our spectrum of naturalness. I'll just kind of scroll through that, and y'all can kind of take a look at that as y'all get a chance. All right, and then we got a little bit more. You can pause as you need to. Traditional hormone therapy. Today, in the post-WHI era, the decision to take HT is really only an issue for those women who have persistent severe hot flashes or sleep disturbance in spite of treatment with other safer therapies. Hormone therapy remains the fastest and most effective treatment for reducing hot flashes, night sweats, and sleep disturbance associated with the menopausal transition. However, according to current guidelines, intractable menopausal symptoms are the only reason that women should be prescribed HT due to the serious potential side effects. The findings of the Women's Health Initiative, WHI, released in July 2002, definitively established that the risks of combination HT outweigh the benefits. The WHI followed more than 16,000 women over a 5.2-year period who were ages 50 to 79 years old, average age 63, still had an intact uterus, and were taking a combination of estrogen and progestin, Premarin, derived from Mars urine, and Provera, a synthetic progestin. HT increased the risk of disease by the following amounts: breast cancer by 26%, heart attacks by 29%, strokes by 41%, and blood clots by 100%. In addition, significant increases in dementia and ovarian cancer were noted. Contrary to popular belief, quality of life, including general health, vitality, mental health, depressive symptoms, and sexual satisfaction, proved no better in the hormone group than in the controls. On the positive side, colon cancer was 37% less in the hormone group, and all fractures were reduced by 24%. However, the latter benefits were not enough to offset the increased risks. Since the risks of HT are cumulative, taking HT for 2 to 4 years around the time of menopause is currently considered reasonably safe. However, the catch is that women taking HT for hot flashes quite often experience a return of their symptoms when they try to stop the hormones several years later. They end up facing the same dilemma all over again, this time with the added pressure of more immediate increased health risks from the hormones. For this reason, taking HT for menopausal symptoms should be understood as a temporary solution only. Beyond that, the current medical approach falters, offering only more hormones or a variety of drugs. an approach that makes women truly healthier during their 2 to 3 year grace period on HT is desperately needed so that women can eventually wean themselves off hormones without experiencing a return of their symptoms. Kathy's story. Kathy was 48 years old and in the middle of a difficult marital situation when she first came to my clinic at the Raj. She was taking time out for a week, she explained, to help clarify her feelings toward her marriage, to recover from a string of life stressors in the past several years, and to learn what she could do naturally to ease her menopausal transition. She had been on hormones for over 2 years, since her periods had become irregular, and hot flashes had begun to keep her awake at night. She had tried several other natural approaches, including black cohosh and soy extracts, without relief. I explained to Kathy that mental stress and accumulated imbalances in her body were interfering with its ability to adjust to her shifting hormones. Hormone therapy was temporarily helping her symptoms, but in a way also masking deeper imbalances. In contrast, her MAV treatment would address the root causes of her symptoms, making her body truly healthier and better able to adjust to this most natural transition. I felt confident that her week-long treatment at the Raj, followed by some simple lifestyle adjustments at home, would provide her with a momentum of inner balance and health that could propel her beyond the need for hormones. 6 months later, Kathy wrote me to report her amazement that despite the stress of an ongoing divorce, she had indeed been able to wean herself off the hormones, was sleeping well, and having only mild warm flashes a few times during the day. I am pleasantly surprised at how well I am handling the stress of a divorce, and doubly pleased that I have been able to come off the hormones, as you suggested. This treatment has been nothing short of a miracle for me. HT, a reality check. In spite of HT's original promise as a hormonal fountain of youth, women in my practice would often report to me that they tried HT but stopped because it gave them side effects, such as weight gain, depression, tender breasts, facial skin spots and rashes, hypoglycemic tendencies, or just plain feeling awful. In fact, studies report that only 20% of postmenopausal women in this country took HT in the pre-WHI era, and of these, 70% stopped within 6 months. In my experience, only a minority of women who begin HT report a return to their old selves. The majority continue to experience problems such as fatigue, overheating, depression, weight gain, high blood pressure, and rising cholesterol long after more immediate symptoms such as hot flashes or vaginal dryness have resolved. Why were women so misled about HT? Obviously, the WHI findings were shocking because they followed on the heels of decades of rosy press reports on HT's supposed benefits. So why the sudden turnaround? The answer lies in the type of research from which conclusions are drawn. The initial positive studies on HT were mainly observational studies, which look backward in time, comparing those who chose to take HT versus those who did not. However, the women who chose to take estrogen back in the 60s and 70s were not randomly assigned to HT, as by a coin toss, the gold standard, randomized, double-blind trial. They may have been more health conscious and followed better diets and exercise regimens than their non-HT taking peers. Indeed, HT users have been found to be more highly educated and thinner than non-users. The failure to find any benefit of HT in randomized trials indicates that such lifestyle factors were the most likely cause of the reduction in heart attacks among these women. New low-dose estrogens. Will they solve the problems? Within months of news-breaking research findings on the disappointing results of HT for heart disease and stronger evidence regarding HT's cancer risks, journals began arriving in my mailbox with articles and ads proclaiming the promise of new low-dose HT regimens. Indeed, initial studies show that doses that are about half of standard are effective at reducing hot flashes and vaginal atrophy with fewer short-term side effects, such as breakthrough bleeding. Recently, ultra-low dose estrogen, 1/4 of the usual dose, was found to significantly increase bone density and in postmenopausal women without giving any reported side effects in 3 years. Whether that will translate long term into fewer fractures and an abscess of side effects is yet to be determined. Overall, less is likely to be. However, in women with ovaries intact, any amount of estrogen taken as therapy is still more than the body is making naturally, a setup for long term side effects. Keep in mind that it will take at least 10 years to get an accurate picture of the long term safety of low dose estrogen regimens. SERMs, the new designer HRT. In another attempt to reduce the side effects of estrogen therapy, a new category of synthetic estrogens called selective estrogen receptor modulators, SERMs, has been created by medical science. Similar in molecular structure to estrogen, SERMs were designed to bring about positive effects without the negative effects of estrogen. They do this by acting like estrogen in some organs, but blocking estrogen's effects on others. So far, relaxifene and tamoxifen are the main SERMs available. These drugs, while beneficial in certain circumstances, are far from perfect. Tamoxifen is useful in treating breast cancer initially. However, it actually increases breast cancer risk if taken for more than 5 years. It also increases uterine cancer risk and clotting problems, can cause hot flashes, and may cause depression and memory problems. Relaxifene, better known by the trade name Evista, improves bone density, slightly reduces cholesterol, and reduces brain cancer risk in the first years of use, but causes hot flashes in many women. Most importantly, long-term studies on its safety and effectiveness are yet to come. As breast surgeon and women's health advocate Dr. Susan Love wrote in Susan Love's hormone book, will we ever get the perfect hormone, or is that what we should be looking for? Stay tuned, but remember that anytime someone tells you they have developed something that sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Natural hormones, bioidentical hormones. As more and more bad news about the risks of HT is reported, many women are turning to so-called natural hormones in hopes of a safer, more natural form of hormone replacement. While these hormones may be safer than designer or traditional HT, we still need to ask, are they safe enough? Remember, a truly natural approach would be without side effects because it is not interventional, but rather works along with your body. Let's see just how natural hormones are. Earlier in this chapter, I explained how your own natural hormones, estrogen and progesterone, work. Now let's look at how they actually interact with your cells in order to understand where they fit in the spectrum of naturalness and safety. Estrogen hormones act within your cells by combining with tiny molecules called receptors. A receptor is similar to a keyhole and designed so that only certain keys fit into it. However, unlike a key, which must fit a lock precisely, a wide variety of estrogen-like keys can fit into an estrogen receptor, including your body's own 3 forms of estrogen, commercial estrogens like Premarin, SERMs, and the estrogen-like molecules called phytoestrogens that occur naturally in a variety of foods, herbs, and spices. Remember, not all estrogens are alike. Due to their varying structures, each of these different estrogens causes its own unique effects as it connects with the receptors on the various cells and tissues and organs of your body. Our natural hormones really natural? So-called natural hormones are manufactured hormones that exactly match your body's own hormones, including estradiol, 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 estriol, estrone, and progesterone. They fit your body's receptors in the same way your own hormones do, thereby earning the label natural. However, they are not natural in the sense of being derived directly from soy or wild yam, as many women assume. Rather, the estrogen like substance is derived from the plant and then altered chemically in the laboratory to make an exact replica of your body's own. Since these substances do not naturally occur in the form you eventually take, but do match your body's own hormones, a more precise term for them is bioidentical. There is a second and more important way in which these bioidentical hormones are not natural to your body. Nature did not put them in your body in the first place. Like HT, bioidentical hormones are introduced into your body from an outside source with a preset amount and timing that do not fit your body's needs and natural cycles. Such a situation cannot possibly create the precise and intricate state of natural balance within your body that is the foundation of health. It is a setup for potentially dangerous side effects. Nonetheless, bioidentical hormones are promoted as proven safe by several popular authors, physicians, and natural pharmacies. But this pronouncement is premature, misleading, and likely to be proven wrong. The long-term side effects of bioidentical hormones have not yet been studied by human trials, and there is no proof that they are any less carcinogenic than Premarin and Provera. Rather, many medical experts believe they are equivalent to Premarin and Provera in carcinogenic effects and several other side effects. According to the latest medical guidelines, all estrogens must be assumed to be as risky as those studied in the Women's Health Initiative until proven otherwise. Whether large, randomized controlled trials on bioidentical hormones will ever be done and is currently being questioned due to the high expense of such trials and the ethical concern that women would be put unnecessarily at risk. Considering the large proportion of women who are currently being led to believe that bioidentical hormones are safe, it may be prudent to do some long-term studies to definitely test these claims. After all, our body's own estrogen, when present in higher levels or with longer exposure, can increase our risk of cancer. Women with dense bones, a marker of high estrogen, have an increased risk of breast cancer. So do women who started their menses at an earlier age or stopped them at a later age, giving them more years of exposure to their body's estrogen? Indeed, laboratory estrogens as a whole, including the popular bioidentical form of estradiol, were recommended for classification as known carcinogens by the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences National Toxicology Program in 2001. In their favor, the bioidenticals may have fewer side effects in the short term. Synthetic progestins, for example, have been found to increase cholesterol significantly, but bioidentical progesterone that exactly matches your own body does not raise cholesterol nearly as much, and women report fewer side effects in it. Preliminary studies suggest that one bioidentical estrogen, estriol, E3, may be less cancer promoting, yet delivers significant benefits to bone health while reducing vaginal atrophy, urinary tract infections, and hot flashes in menopausal women. While it is doubtful that any hormone taken as therapy will ever be totally proven safe, it does seem that estriol deserves to be studied on its own in well-designed clinical trials to properly assess its benefits and side effects. Meanwhile, I would advise you to approach estriol treatment with as much serious consideration and caution as any other hormone therapy. Is natural progesterone safe? Proponents of bioidentical progesterone downplay its risks, and I have yet to meet a woman taking it who does not assume that it was completely risk-free or even anti-carcinogenic. However, while bioidentical progesterone has been shown to protect against the uterine cancer-causing effects of estrogen when taken orally, as does Provera, it has not been shown to protect against the cancer-promoting effects of estrogen on the breast. Given recent findings that taking synthetic progestogens with estrogen for 10 years doubles the risk of breast cancer over taking estrogen alone. We must assume, until we see proof to the contrary, that bioidentical progesterone carries a similar risk, whether taken as a capsule or as a cream rubbed into the skin. All told, bioidentical progesterone has not yet been proven safe, and a recent randomized trial indicates that it also does not increase bone density significantly, contrary to popular belief. While it has been shown to reduce hot flashes, there are safer options, such as dietary and herbal treatments, that should be tried first. If you do choose to take bioidentical progesterone, take it for as short a time as possible to minimize your risks. Alternative approaches: vitamins, herbs, and food concentrates. A growing number of women who are dissatisfied with the fragmented approach of modern medicine, a cardiologist for high blood pressure, a gynecologist for pap smears, and a psychiatrist for our chronic anxiety, are visiting alternative practitioners. They hope to find a more holistic approach to menopause symptoms and related health conditions. Treatments may include taking supplements such as vitamins, herbs, and food concentrates. How safe are alternative approaches? Is the alternative approach really more holistic? Is it even safe? Some women find they are dealing with just as many different practitioners: a chiropractor for their back pain, a naturopath for their hot flashes, and an acupuncturist for their sinus headaches. Add to this the bewildering array of supplements and vitamins available at the health food store, and the vastly differing opinions of health food store clerks. And it seems that alternative approaches can be just as fragmented and confusing as the mainstream medical model. In regard to safety, vitamins, herbs, and food concentrates are designed like a magic bullet, the same way traditional HT, SERMs, and bioidenticals are designed. Both try to use an isolated substance to bring about a cure. A woman may feel she is helping herself by taking garlic capsules for her high cholesterol, or echinacea for her immune system, but treating a symptom with a supplement does not treat health as a whole. Alternative endeavors cannot counter the effects of a lifetime of poor eating habits and an unbalanced lifestyle. This is not to say that many alternative or complementary therapies are without benefit. Certainly, many are helpful and relatively safe when compared to drugs and surgery. A number of studies indicate that black cohosh is helpful for hot flashes and safe for a 6-month period of use, possibly longer. For overall health, however, overhyped, largely unsubstantiated claims of reduced heart disease or cancer risk can lull people into thinking that lifestyle is unimportant. Maybe their lack of exercise is all right, since they are taking their vitamin E and coenzyme Q10. The fact is that despite decades of research, no substitute for healthy living has ever been discovered. The experience of Gina illustrates one way supplements can do more harm than good. Gina's story: when less is more, Gina, a 49-year-old nurse, came to me for an evaluation because she had been having episodes of heart palpitations for over a year. She had gotten a complete cardiac workup from her previous doctor, who had told her that her symptoms were due to her perimenopausal condition. Gina did not want to take HT, her doctor's recommendation, and came to me for a more natural herbal approach. In the course of her evaluation, Gina pulled out her bag of 17 supplements ranging from Black Cohosh to CoQ10 to high dose multivitamins to blue green algae, all of which she had been taking for over a year. She gave me a logical reason for taking each one, based on studies she had read, proclaiming how great each substance was for health. When it came time to write her prescription, I found myself unable to add anything to the confusing conglomeration of substances she was already taking. On a hunch, I suggested that she gradually wean off the supplements over a few weeks and then return for a follow-up visit. In addition, I recommended a diet of fresh, whole foods based on her individual needs, as well as other lifestyle changes. Sure enough, 4 weeks later, Gina returned with a smile and healthy glow on her face. I have good news for you, she reported. The palpitations have completely disappeared. Not only that, but she had lost 4 pounds without trying and attained a state of energy and vitality that she had been striving for, but that all her supplements had been unable to deliver. But vitamins aren't vitamins naturally safe? Vitamins are naturally occurring substances found both in foods and in the body. However, taking them in high concentrations in isolated form rather than as they are naturally found in whole foods is not natural to the body. In fact, it's just one more magic bullet that can throw off your balance. That can throw you off your balance. Over time, imbalances in your body's biochemistry may lead to side effects. In January 2000, a panel from the Institute of Medicine established, for the first time ever, upper limits of vitamin C and E intake to prevent such adverse health effects. The bulk of the evidence now indicates that vitamins naturally occurring and consumed in foods are much more powerful and safer than vitamins taken in supplement form. The Iowa Women's Health Study found as much as a 50 to 75% reduction in heart attack risk in postmenopausal women consuming high amounts of vitamin E naturally in their diet. In contrast, taking vitamin E as a supplement has shown variable benefits, with a 35 to 40% heart attack reduction at best, and at worst, an increase in strokes and bleeding problems. The Iowa Women's Health Study further discovered that those with high vitamin E intake from their diet who also took supplemental vitamins had less benefit than those with a healthy diet who didn't take vitamins at all. It is a policy in my practice to ask new patients to bring all their supplements to their first visit. I am frequently astonished by how large a bag they bring, often overflowing with bottles and jars, with studies showing that just one supplement in high doses can throw the body out of balance. Imagine what taking dozens of them at a time might do. Generally, the safest approach to supplementing your diet is simply to optimize your intake of a variety of whole foods. If a woman feels she really needs to take certain vitamins that she may not be getting in her diet, I generally advise her not to take them every day, but just once or twice a week. This minimizes any unbalancing effect that they may have and reduces any strain on your body that may come from excreting the excess nutrients. If your body is really low in a nutrient, its affinity for it, meaning its ability to absorb it from the intestines, increases dramatically, making mega doses or daily supplements rarely truly necessary. How naturally safe are herbs? Herbs in their whole form or as whole components behave much like foods in your body and are therefore generally balancing. However, by definition, herbs have stronger physiological effects than most foods and so must be used in a balanced and knowledgeable fashion. Natural medicine, as practiced today in the West, tends to mirror the modern medical model of treating a symptom with an isolated magic bullet, albeit an herb. For example, Modern herbalism commonly recommends St. John's wort for everyone who feels depressed and the herbal resin gugula to anyone with high cholesterol. In traditional natural medicine systems, including Maharishi Ayurveda, single herbs specific to one symptom or ailment are rarely used alone. In MAV, precise understanding of the art and science of herbal preparation is combined with a sophisticated understanding of how to match the right formula to the right patient. For example, gugula is often used in the treatment of high cholesterol, but only when the problem is caused by particular imbalances and never as an isolated ingredient. Supportive herbs are always combined with gugula to enhance its action and to balance its inherent heat-increasing effects, which otherwise may cause heartburn, skin rashes, or other inflammatory conditions. The principles that influence herbal safety and efficacy are important because herbs are fast emerging as popular treatments for menopausal symptoms such as hot flashes, vaginal dryness, mood swings, and sleep disturbances. Traditional Ayurvedic herbs and spices will be used later in this book in a highly individualized program to help eliminate your menopausal symptoms and correct the underlying physiological imbalances that have given rise to them. Phytoestrogens, hormonal intelligence from your food. We have seen how taking any kind of magic bullet to replace or enhance what is already naturally in your body is unnatural and therefore carries the risk of side effects. But nature, in her infinite compassion and wisdom, did provide one powerful yet gentle option for hormonal support at menopause: our food, phytoestrogens. Those plant estrogens that exist in foods, spices, and herbs into your body through your diet every day. This ebbing, flowing, and partnering with your body's own hormones is an intricately choreographed, intelligent dance of hormonal health. Phytoestrogens in your diet technically come from outside your body, but in their naturally occurring food form, they do not create side effects. This is because your genes have evolved with phytoestrogens over millions of years, and they are fully integrated into nature's plan, classified in at least 8 different botanical categories. Phytoestrogens are found in common fruits, vegetables, nuts, cereals, spices, seeds, legumes, and herbs. In foods, phytoestrogens are present in relatively low doses and occur in wide variety. So no one hormonal signal can overwhelm your body's delicate hormone balancing act and thus create side effects. Furthermore, phytoestrogens in plants are natural SERMs. They act like estrogen in some organs and block its effects in others. But not all these hormone balancing herbs and spices act like estrogen in your body. Research has found black cohosh to be the most effective isolated herb against hot flashes. But surprisingly, it doesn't act at all like estrogen in your body. It doesn't even attach itself to the estrogen receptors in your cells. Yet many phytoestrogenic herbs do interact directly with your hormonal system. Licorice and red clover work by directly stimulating your estrogen receptors, much as estrogen does, while soy has mixed stimulating and blocking effects. The total effect of phytoestrogenic herbs and foods, when taken properly, is to balance your hormones and support your body, rather than overstimulating the body and causing damaging effects. Isolated phytoestrogens are not safe. Research has shown that eating a phytoestrogen-rich diet that includes soy products can reduce hot flashes and may lead to modest gains in bone density and a lowering of cholesterol. Countering the magic bullet mentality, recent research has found that soy phytoestrogen can be more powerful when given as whole food than when concentrated into a pill. An NIH-sponsored workshop held in 1999 to review the known health effects of phytoestrogens found that whole soy foods seemed to provide greater health benefits than isolated extracts. For example, one study found that isolating the phytoestrogen substances called isoflavones from soy and giving them as a peel was not as effective at lowering cholesterol as giving intact soy protein. Isolating and ingesting the active ingredients in phytoestrogen rich foods may also create side effects. While soy food consumption in general is associated with a reduced risk of breast cancer, concentrated flavonoids have a variable effect on cancer cells growing in the laboratory. In one study, they actually stimulated cancer growth when given in low doses. While phytoestrogen rich foods in their whole form may be helpful, isolated and concentrated isoflavones act more like drugs. Medical experts caution against their use until more research is done. It just may end up that isolated isoflavones carry the same risks as the drugs and hormones women are trying to avoid. Maharishi Ayurveda. By now, you have seen that a variety of therapies other than MAV are promoted as natural or healthy. None of them, except for phytoestrogenic and vitamin-rich whole foods, deserve those descriptions. MAV's position on the most natural end of the spectrum of therapies for menopause suggests that it is a purely and totally natural approach. MAV doesn't rely on intervention by a foreign substance to correct or replace the hormones in your body, the hormones your body has been using all of your life. Instead, it supports your health during menopause by strengthening your body's own self-healing and balancing mechanisms, enlivening the inner intelligence of the body for total healing. Not simply targeting symptoms is the primary goal of every treatment modality in MAV. MAV herbal prescriptions are not applied according to the magic bullet theory. Rather, combinations of herbs are prepared together in precise formulas to create a synergistic enhancement of herbal effects and to increase bioavailability. These herbal formulations always include select ingredients that balance out lay down and go to sleep.
Yes, sir.
MAV herbal prescriptions are not applied according to the magic bullet theory. Rather, combinations of herbs are prepared together in precise formulas to create a synergistic enhancement of herbal effects and to increase bioavailability. These herbal formulations always include select ingredients that balance out the potential side effects of the primary herbs in the formula. Herbal preparations from MAV, when applied correctly, are free of dangerous side effects. Achieving this high degree of safety, however, requires a meticulous attention to detail and a thorough understanding of how to combine and prepare the formulas to minimize negative effects. An herb prepared properly can be very safe, even when modern research on that same herb used in isolation and in high doses finds potentially dangerous side effects. Your Maharishi Ayurveda program for health after 40. The MAV approach outlined in this book will provide you with an individualized, focused approach to optimizing your health, your lifestyle for radiant good health at menopause and beyond. You will also be given a tailor-made herbal and dietary program to correct the underlying imbalances in your body that are the real cause of most health problems before, during, and after menopause. Regardless of what other choices you make for your health during the important transition, your personalized, totally natural MAV menopause program will support your body's inner healing ability and help you create a stable foundation for vibrant health in the decades to come. without harmful side effects. And that concludes chapter 1. That was some powerful information, y'all. The Ageless Woman, y'all. We're about to go on a journey with this one. Listen, y'all be blessed and expose your gift.